Well, for the first time in quite some time, we welcome Madera's Director of Instruction, Chris Mayson. The reason why he hasn't been here for the majors is you're a teacher for Brendan Steele. He just keeps on winning the safe way, and he won again this year, so you're not going to be here for the Masters, you're not going to be here for the U.S. Open, the PGA, or the British, but, you know, you're here right now. So let's go ahead and talk about today. I mean,
amazing day.
We were just talking about, there's been some great golf played these last 3 weeks, hasn't there?
Yeah, it's fantastic. This is the third playoff in a row. They had 6 holes at Hawaii. They did 4 holes at the Career Builder last week, and now they're going to go at least 6 here for the Farmers. It's very, very exciting. And the golf that they played, Jason Day and Alex Noren, was just incredible.
I mean, honestly, a lot of us have never heard of Alex Noren. Have you heard of Alex Noren before this?
Actually, I used to play with him when I was on the England team. He was on the Swedish team. Yeah, and then he went to Oklahoma State, and I played with him in college again. And he's just kept getting better and better and better. And he's been a name the last 4 or 5 years, especially on the European Tour. He's won 9 times. And he's been in the top 10 in the world, and now I think he's in the top 20 in the world. So he's been a great player for a long time, and he's just trying to get over the hurdle of winning his first PGA Tour event.
So let's talk about Day versus Noren. I mean, I had fun. I mean, I honestly, I still don't think Monday's going to be enough to end this one the way that those guys were going. I mean, they were, you know, going toe-to-toe and, you know, matching shot for shot. And I thought the most impressive thing is the guys, neither one of the guys played scared.
No, they didn't. They were trying to make birdies, and it's very, very difficult to do when the sun's going down. Obviously, it's tough to putt those greens, and they really did a great job, and I'm glad that he made that putt. Well, both of them made that putt in the final hole, and they can sleep well tonight and hopefully go in and play well again tomorrow.
What's that like for your psyche when you know you have one hole, and one hole is going to be the difference between maybe a $1.2 million purse and a $500,000 purse?
Yeah, those two don't need that kind of money. They just really want the win. So they won't sleep great tonight. Obviously, Jason Day hasn't won in a year and a half. Noren's trying to get his first win on the PGA Tour ever. So both of them want it very, very badly. It just seemed to me like Jason Day was quite relaxed, and Noren was really wanting the win pretty bad. So it'd be interesting to see how they come out the gun tomorrow.
Weather was a huge thing today. I mean, 2.5. When have you ever seen Torrey Pines in one day play 2.5 shots different? I mean, it really had some teeth today, didn't it?
Yeah, it really did. I mean, the course is so hard anyway. The guys love playing it because it's obviously a US Open test. But when you get the Santa Ana winds coming in, and it's so hard to keep the ball on the green, and then the greens get a little bumpy, and it's just a really difficult test. And we saw pretty much how it would probably play at a US Open today.
The Poana greens, or Poana, or I'm probably mispronounced, but they grow kind of funky, and especially like, you know, later in the day, you were saying that, you know, even if you have this putt lined up perfectly, it still might not go in.
Yeah, later in the day you get the bumps and the footprints, and then the grass starts to grow at different speeds throughout the day, so you could hit a perfect putt and it just bounce offline, and too bad.
One of the things they really talked about on the thing, I mean, people were tweeting about it and people were getting upset, you could hear the crowd booing, was J.B. Holmes. This guy, I mean, this guy's a long hitter, and he decides, you know what? I'm gonna hit it, and then he goes, no, wait a second, I'm gonna lay up. And but he took 4 minutes and 20 seconds on a shot, especially when those other guys are trying to get into this playoff. I mean, is this bad golf etiquette, or is this just a guy trying to win a tournament?
It was bad in the fact that it was his turn, and if he knew he wasn't ready, he should have let Noren play. Noren was clearly ready, he had his 3-wood out, and he was ready to go, and JB just basically iced him. Right, and then to lay up after all of that, and then Noren just smashed it over the green. Probably had so much adrenaline after waiting there for so long, and he basically can't get up and down from 20 yards over the green there. So it was disappointing to see, but he was running his process and doing whatever he could.
I know they put guys on the clock, because I remember, you know, in some of the majors. I mean, is that a case where maybe you should be penalized, a penalty stroke? Because I mean, we're literally sitting there watching, going, "Dude, just hit the ball." I mean, you know, the thing could be over. It didn't take 4 minutes and 20 seconds. Yeah,
I mean, the guy didn't come in and say anything. He gets 50 seconds, and he took way more than that. But no one was on him, and it'll be a talking point for sure.
Let's go ahead and talk about Tiger Woods. I mean, this guy moves the meter like no one else. The crowds were 10 deep for him. I mean, yesterday, and he wasn't even in contention. He was 10 shots back yesterday. Today, he kind of got a little bit back in, you know, at 3 under. But let's listen to him putting out on one of the holes, and then we'll talk about the Tiger Woods effect.
He can keep the pace on this. It's going up the hill.
Oh, that was right in the middle of the stroke. That was awful.
I'm not a golf pro, but I know that's bad golf etiquette, right?
Yeah, it was disappointing. I was out there yesterday. I took my son out, and it was basically like two different tournaments. You had Tiger's round of golf, and there was half the people were with him, and then basically had another golf tournament. And he just brings a different level of golf. He brings a different level of people, different crowd. And it was so loud and such a great buzz around him. And it's just good to have him back. And I'm glad that he came to San Diego again.
And how amazing is it? I mean, he was last in fairways hit, yet he was better than, I think, 54 other golfers. I mean, as a teacher, can you teach that?
No. I mean, he just has a heart and a will and a grind that just no one else does. And he just desperately wants to win. And I'd give him a B+ for what he did today, or did this week, really. There's so much expectation, so much pressure, so many eyes on him. And to finish 25th, I think it's very good. It's not a win, it's not a challenge like we all wanted, but to finish how he did, I think was very impressive. And he's hitting all over the place at a golf course that you need to hit in the fairway. The
other thing, too, is, I mean, with all the trials and tribulations he's had, since 2013, I mean, we keep on writing him off.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you right now, should we write off Tiger Woods, or is he going to win another major?
I'd be amazed if he won another major. I was saying to one of my students today, I can't believe it's been 10 years since he won at Torrey. Like, you'd never have bet he wouldn't have won after 10 years of that. And I would love to see him back on top, just because he was a hero of mine. I'd love to see him play. And he brings a different level to golf, which no one else can. There's
another guy that moves the meter, not quite like Tiger Woods, is Phil Mickelson. He parted ways with his caddy Bones in June, and then he decided to have his brother Tim on his bag. He's won 5 majors, won, I think, 43 other tournaments, but he hasn't done anything since the Open, as you call it, or I call it the British Open. But since the British Open, when he won, I mean, where is this guy as a golfer?
Obviously, he's on the tail end. He wouldn't want to admit it. He thinks he's going to get in the Ryder Cup. He still works hard. He's still got such a passion, which I think is why he's still at the top of the game. But the young guys are just getting better and hitting it longer and working harder, and he's just going to have a hard time getting back in the winner's circle, I think.
So is he like one of those guys, because I compare it to Jack, where Jack was still so good into his 40s, and then Arnie was not so good? Is it like Phil's Arnie and Tiger's Jack kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, it's very much that. Like, there's not very many 40-year-olds who are bringing that kind of level of play onto the PGA Tour now. I feel like the careers are much, much shorter, because everyone's hitting it longer, getting injured. They're making so much money that the level of motivation into their 40s usually kind of wanes. Right. But with Tiger and Phil, they just bring a different level, and you have to admire that. You were named 2017 Golf Digest, maybe one of the top teachers in California. I'm going to ask you something. I'm not a great golfer. I can putt okay, but this claw grip thing, man, it's like, it's taken over. Everybody does the claw grip. What is it about the claw grip? And obviously, we were looking back. We have you'll see it here when you actually taught the claw grip on one of our Maderas, things. But just, what is the claw grip, and why do people like it? Yeah, it's funny, when I think Chris DeMarco brought it out 10 or 15 years ago, and everyone was laughing at him for having the yips. And now I would say a third of the field probably do the claw. And it really works well. It gets the right hand out. You don't flip it as much. It's more left hand dominant. It's better under when you're nervous. And once you start using it a lot, you can get pretty good at it. So it's probably a third of the field are using it this week. Basically, yeah, because I mean, even Phil on those short putts he uses the, so is it just basically you're not whipping the club, I guess, right? Yeah, it just takes the hands out of it, is what I would say. It was more of a shoulder-driven stroke then, and the guys like the consistency. Now, 2.5 strokes higher for Torrey Pines. Madera, was it playing 2.5 strokes higher today? It was tough when the center-handers come in. The golf course is in incredible condition. We've got a new general manager who's doing a great job. The greens were at least as good as Torrey Pines, I thought, this week. And they've been consistently good for a few months now. So we're getting a lot of play, and people are really enjoying the place. We have about 2 minutes left. Let's go ahead and talk about the majors coming up. I always, since you're not going to be here, since you're going to be with Brendan Steele, which congratulations to Brendan, by the way. Who's going to win the Masters? Because this is the one kind of the kickoff to the season. Because I mean, you and I never thought Sergio was going to be the Masters winner last year. No, not at all. It's kind of a crapshoot right now, isn't it? You've got Spieth, who's playing well. Dustin Johnson's playing well. Obviously, Jason Day's rounding into some form. But my pick would be Rory McIlroy. He didn't do anything last year. It seems like his private life is he's just got married and feels very comfortable. Took some time off, been working on his swing, and then he's come out at the start of the year, finished 3rd at Abu Dhabi, and then 2nd this week. So I think if he keeps going this way, gets some confidence, then that would be my pick. Okay, for those of us that have never been to the Masters, I heard that is the most pristine golf course that you're ever going to see in your life. It's absolutely incredible. It was a dream for me to go, let alone coach there, and it's one of those places where I had very high expectations, and it far exceeded them. It was incredible.
And then also going to all these different ones as a teacher, so you're going to all the all the majors. What's that like to go and I mean, because there's Torrey Pines, and then when you get to a major, it's a whole nother level, isn't it?
It really is a whole new level. Yeah, there's more grandstands, more people, more media, more television. It's really very exciting, and Brendan did really well last year in all of them, and I'm excited to see what happens this year. Now he's comfortable. He's in the top 50 in the world now, and he's got his third win, which was really exciting. So we'll see how he does this year. And
I just got to, what is it about Safeway? We're up in Northern California. We got 30 seconds. What is it about him 2 years in a row winning the thing?
He just loves the golf course. He knows it well. He knows the shots. It's a good time of the year for him. And I actually caddied for him when he won this year. So it was really exciting just to be on the bag and feel it. Small one.
Small one. All right. Hey, Chris Mayson, director. Thank you, Chris. Thank you very much. Well, that's the, we'll have a little bit more coming up on the KUSI News in 6. We'll be right back.